One thing I always try to do is I try to encourage my audience to read beyond the headlines, because a headline could never tell the entire story. I don't care what the story is. And in today's day and age, headlines are often used to misrepresent the truth. Headlines don't always tell the truth about what the actual story is. And it's sad that we live in a world like this, but that's just how things are. And you have to learn how to navigate. You have to learn how to navigate through the headlines and through the mistruths that are out there when you're trying to get down to the bottom of something. Now, every day I sit down and I pore over the news. I comb through all types of news articles, and I often come across headlines that really misrepresent what the stories are about. But today, I found one that just kind of irked my nerves. It irked my nerves to the point that I sat down, like I'm doing right now, to make this video. I read this headline and it says, Tennessee deputy found dead after making first arrest. Patrol vehicle recovered from river. Now, when I saw this, I thought, how tragic could this be? Someone was heroic enough to sign up to become a cop in today's day and age. And after making their first arrest, I guess they were killed. Someone must have murdered them, maybe threw their car in the river. I don't know, but when you read this headline, it makes you automatically, it makes you feel bad for the police officer. It makes you think that maybe something bad was done to the police officer. But then you read a tad bit further and you see that this tragic story is not what it seemed to be at first. Let's go ahead and read this article, shall we? The body of a Tennessee deputy was found Thursday after he went missing following his first ever arrest. His patrol vehicle and the body of the woman he arrested were also recovered from a river, authorities say. Deputy Robert R.J. Leonard's remains were being taken to a medical examiner's office. Leonard's vehicle was pulled from the Tennessee River earlier on Thursday in an area on the border of Meigs and Hamilton counties, officials say. A body believed to be that of the female arrestee has been recovered from the back seat of the vehicle, according to Hamilton County Sheriff Austin Garrett. We always hope that it's a rescue, so we always hold out that hope. But we also have to face the facts that are in front of us. We won't lose hope that we could still recover him. Authorities are working to confirm the identity of the person recovered from the back seat, though they believe it to be the arrestee. Leonard had responded to a report of a man and a woman fighting on a bridge shortly before 10 p.m. local time on Wednesday, and had taken the woman into custody. He was driving to the county jail when the sheriff's office lost communication with him, and he failed to respond to a status check. One of the deputy's last communications was a text to his wife that said, "Arrest." His wife texted back and said, "That's good," or "That's great." We know that his phone did not evidently receive that text. At nearly the exact same time, Leonard also made a radio communication to dispatch. Dispatch couldn't tell what he was saying. We think he was saying water. They triangulated the last position of his phone and the Life 360 that his wife has attached to his phone, and it appears that they're almost in the same location. A vehicle was located Thursday morning in the river. It was upside down with the wheels up, filled with mud, and the driver's side window was down, Johnson said. The license plate confirmed that it was Leonard's patrol car. Officials said that the landing can be treacherous, especially for those not from the area. A woman went into the water at the same exact location several weeks ago, but she was rescued and survived. We're operating under the theory that it was an accident. He missed his turn, he wasn't familiar, and he was doing other things that may have caused him to go in the water, Johnson said at a Thursday afternoon press conference. So just in case you all haven't put two and two together yet, this officer was texting his wife while driving in the middle of the night in a strange, dangerous area. He had just made an arrest, and as he was texting and driving, he drove the car into the river, and not only did he die in the process, but the woman he arrested died as well. Imagine that. Imagine being arrested for something petty. You're in the back of a patrol car. This, theoretically, like this should be one of the safest places you can be. Y'all are taking me to jail. I'm with the police. But no, because the officer was texting and driving, you wind up drowning to death, handcuffed in the back of the police car because of a mistake that the officer made. Now you see how the truth is so far removed from the headline. Tennessee deputy found dead after making first arrest. Patrol car recovered in the river. It makes you think that there was an elaborate crime here. It doesn't mention for 1 second that the officer was breaking the law. I don't think it's legal to text and drive really anywhere. No mention of that. No mention of the fact that an innocent person, because regardless what this person was arrested for, I guess they were arrested for arguing with their boyfriend on a bridge or something. They didn't deserve to die. They didn't deserve to drown to death in the back of a cop car. But that's what happened. And instead of telling the truth, instead of putting that detail in the headline, they bury it. You have to read through almost the entire article before you come to realize, oh, wait, I was feeling so bad for this tragic situation, but it turns out this cop is responsible for the death of the woman that was in his back seat. Now, the cop died as well, and that is tragic. I do feel bad about the situation. I'm not cold-hearted enough to say, I don't care about the cop drowning. He shouldn't have texted and driven. That's not my point here. The point is that the actual story was buried in this article. And it wasn't buried deep. Usually it's buried a little bit deeper. But when reading that headline, you would never assume that, oh, the officer was found dead because he was texting and driving, doing something that the cops will pull you over and give you a ticket for. So he was texting and driving, drove his car into a river, killed himself and killed the arrestee in the process. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's just one example. Just yet another example. We've gone over plenty on this channel as to why it's always important to read past the headlines, because the headlines not only do they not tell you the full story, often they don't tell you any part of the story at all. Like, you wouldn't have gathered hardly anything from this headline that has anything to do with what actually took place in this story. But unfortunately, we're going to start seeing a lot more stories like this one in the near future. Because right now, there is a major shortage of police officers in America. And not even just with police, and it seems like in a lot of different career paths right now, they're hiring people who aren't necessarily what you would call qualified for the job. They're checking off boxes. They're hiring people who are unqualified. The police force, for example, they can't find people to fill these positions. So they're hiring random Tom, Dick, and Janes off the street. And this is just one of the crazy law enforcement related stories that I've seen this week. We had another situation where an acorn fell on an officer's car and they thought it was shots fired. And they just started shooting and firing off shots in the street. They even said they got shot because they hurt their arm when they fell on the ground after they heard the acorn hit their car. I shared the video over on my X or Twitter. Go follow me over there if you haven't already. But we're going to start seeing a lot of this, I can guarantee you. I've always had an issue with how some cops go about handling their jobs. I have never been one to think that police officers are beyond criticism or if they're like untouchable. You know, I've never been someone like that. I think that we do have a lot of issues with law enforcement in this country. I'm not like for defunding the police and all of that crazy stuff, but I do think there are conversations to be had. And I hate to see headlines that like this one that kind of run interference. This headline's kind of running interference, kind of protecting this police department from what actually happened. But like I said, we're going to start seeing more stories like this one. And who knows where we're going to go next in today's society. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you would like to donate to the channel, you could do so via CashApp. I'll have my CashApp in the pinned comment. You could also help this channel by sharing and subscribing. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.